Mental health is not a destination, but a process which says, move on, and move on. And with this motto, this is your host, Dr. Supriya Kumar Velan, welcome you all on this global conference by none other than Macedonian Association Doza Sregza International Macedonia. So, a very great, beautiful evening. Namaste from India. Dobre doidofte, dober dan, hello, good morning, and tempestuous afternoon to all the dignitaries and eminent personality who are being with us on this beautiful, pious evening, especially from India. And I don't know about your country, whichever you belong. So, good evening, good afternoon, and good evening. So many things which are flashing in. I can see in Facebook right now, you all are spreading a positive vibes. All right. So the topic today is very, very demanding. It's a small topic which says mental health challenges. And from time immemorial, we are talking about mental health challenges. And once again, we all are here to share our golden views with each other. So I think we have a lot of eminent personality. So without taking a pause, without any single delay, let's start this beautiful, fantastic, ecstatic journey by Macedonian Association, Doza Sregza International Macedonia Global Conference. And when I say this global conference, this is not only a conference, it is about sharing and caring across the world. To heading upon, I would love to call my first eminent speaker, international representative of Macedonian Association, author, scientist, great honor, much not, who believes in spreading a very beautiful line and which always inspire others, and that is always have your smile whenever you are drooping down. And when you are drooping down, it says only one thing: go on, go on, go on. And without any pause, Dr. Dragon, everybody is waiting for you to have your insightful views. So the stage is all yours, sir.
Thank you very much, dear Supri. Thank you, Anuja. Honored. I speak shortly. I respect the time for all speakers. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. It is okay not to be okay. You are not your mental illness. Your struggles to not definite you. Taking care of your mental health in act of self-love. You are worthy of happiness and peace of mind. Prioritizing your mental health is crucial for leading a healthy and a fulfilling life. Mental health includes emotional, physical, and social well-being, and is affected how you think, feel, and behave. Without good mental health, it can be difficult to manage daily stressors and challenges, which can lead to negative consequences in all areas of life. Taking care of your mental health involves practicing self-care and seeking support when needed. Self-care can include activities such as exercising, meditating, spending time with loved ones, and engaging in hobbies or interests. It is also important to prioritize getting in enjoy rest and nourishing your body and healthy food. You are deserving of love and compassion, especially from yourself. You have the power to change your relationship with your mental health. When you focus on your mental health, you may see many positive impacts, including improved relationship, work output, and your overall well-being. It can lead to increased self-esteem and self-confidence, better stress management, and improved physical health. It can also help you feel more in control of your thoughts and emotions, which can lead to more positive exercise and greater sense of overall happiness and fulfillment. If you are someone you know is dealing with mental health, uses contact Embrace Health for treatment opinions. Embrace Health offers telehealth services to help anyone learn the skills to coping with and managing mental health conditions, including depression, anxiety, phobias, and grief. Sorry by my language, but thank you very much. Thank you, Supri. Greetings from Macedonia.
Dr. Dragan and Blagodaram in your language. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. As always, you are enlightening this platform, and you have crafted this Macedonian Association, which is really, really proving a boon to the society. And I much respect you for spacing crafting and giving chance to everyone, all eminent dignitaries. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I talk about my next speaker, then my next speaker needs not any introduction. Now you will say, why so? Why that personality will not require any introduction? Because the world calls him the LinkedIn King. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, from UK, Kiddos International, Kiddos founder, Kiddos for founder, spreading millions of inspiration and touching thousands of lives. And this impact you can see on social media. Here is Matt Allen. Matt, the floor is all yours to enlighten everybody's today.
Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, Dr. Dragan. Thank you to all of the attendees today and anybody else who listening from home or from the office or wherever you're traveling, whatever you may be doing. I wanted to take a moment just to elaborate a little bit about my life, first of all, and then explain to people about the possibilities of a miracle for every one of us. I wanted to share with people about some of the difficulties that I've been through, not in the measurement of what difficulties I've had, but in the measurement of difficulties that we all experience. Things like poor health, things like poor mental health. Beyond that, the stresses and the impacts that we have in our lives. I've experienced quite a rare condition that is quite familiar to a lot of people in many of its guises in terms of diabetes, which is sometimes and more so relative to mental health as well as physical health. In fact, many of the people now consider it to be instigated through some mental difficulty, some stressor that has happened in our lives. And so that's contributed towards type 1 diabetes. And in fact, type 2 diabetes can be linked very closely to stress in its outset, as well as people seem to gravitate towards comfort eating or something like that. I think that both of the conditions are aligned very much with impacts of mental health as we go through our lives with this condition, type 2 or type 1 diabetes. And there's a lot of medical research and papers that are written about the impacts that medical and mental health can have on a diabetic patient. I would like to tell people and stand up with my hand on my heart to say that that doesn't need to be the case. I've lived for I just had a birthday, so 36 years with type 1 diabetes, brittle type 1 diabetes, which is not so common. And that has caused me an awful lot of stress in my earlier days because it was very difficult for me to control. In fact, the doctors would quite often refer me to psychiatric help or psychological help because they believed that I wasn't capable of looking after my condition, when really my condition was not the normal type 1 diabetes that most type 1 diabetics have. Instead, what would happen would be that I'd go along to a consultant appointment where they would basically try and understand how I try and manage my diabetes, not relate to how I try to cope. And then following that appointment would make another appointment with my GP for them to refer me to psychological help. Nowadays, that condition, that particular brittle type 1 diabetes is a more established condition, and they know and understand to a large degree what impact that can have on people's lives. And it can be very dramatic. Not directly, but I've had PTSD, I've had severe depression, I've tried to commit suicide amongst various mental health conditions and impacts. And I find myself here now today, a very different man to the boy that first had diabetes and the man that I grew up believing that I was. I think that for me is the key to mental health for my own person, and hopefully for others that I speak to, and potentially can enthuse them to have a better life and belief in themselves, because I think that is the true measurement of how to be healthy mentally. Of course, there are some mental illnesses that are beyond that, and I don't express myself as any doctor or medical or mental instigator or philosopher in that sense. But I do know me, and I do know what is possible because I know what I was before and how I am now. I am very different and very capable. I am very energetic and very enthusiastic and optimistic for life, whereas before I was very pessimistic and very dogmatic in a lot of my approach. And that for me is the key, is that through being more pragmatic, about being practical and changing the problems that we face, not using them as problems or sticks to walk around with or to beat ourselves with, but instead as solutions that we can develop for ourselves and then provide for other people as we look at those things and think how life could be better. I mentioned miracles earlier on. That's because my business is all about miracles. My business is just about a year old in essence, and yet I didn't work for 10, 11 years before that. And here I am, a man with 35 years of diabetes, partially sighted. Sometimes my throat is a little bit croaky because I throw up quite often. I have a lot of physical ailments that drag me down, but they don't drag me down. That's just what we're told that they should do. Not that long ago, a couple of years ago, I was told, yeah, you're not really going to be able to get out of bed much, let alone do these sorts of things. It wasn't something that anybody had envisaged me being able to do. But the power of one's mind and the result in one's body can be phenomenal. It can reach beyond any consideration of what people think is normal. It can reach beyond the addictions of drugs or alcohol or even social media. I know that we're using that today, but I don't see that as something that I need to be addicted to or that I need to hold in my hands every moment of every day. I see that as a tool to use to be able to not just tell my story, because many people have heard my story and I don't tell it very often, but more to tell the benefits of being able to help one another, to think about one another's needs and find a way that we can help to provide a solution for that. I think that life is not just about the problems that we have, but about what we believe is possible afterwards and then as a result. I very much like that one of my dear friends recently reminded me of Carl Jung. That friend was telling me about some other things, but I set off and remembered some of the things that I remembered about Carl Jung's teachings. And one of the particular ones that I like, and from a recent post that I made on LinkedIn, is that I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. I am what I believe is possible. I am what I believe is possible for everybody else. And I'm doing all that I can to enable everybody else to be as much a miracle as I believe that I am. Because I can see me. I know the difference. I'm the person who was struggling to get up to go to the toilet to be able to be sick in the toilet. And here I am, capable of this and so much more. And so are so many other people. So are all the people in this room and all the people who are listening and those that aren't. We just need to believe in what is possible and make a change, not just physically, not just mentally, but as a society, to change the very fundamentals of how we are manipulated and told. We won't do much better. We won't get out of bed. We won't succeed. We won't change the systems. Instead, we need to believe that we can take action, and then we will. So thank you, Supriya. It's a pleasure to be here.
Matt, what to say after listening this so inspiring words? And I'm always been a fan of your determination. And whenever you say about miracles, so miracles are created by us. The hidden potentiality, whatever, whichever, and wherever we are using in a positive manner. And your life journey, when you told your own inspiring story, I'm sure people who are watching us live and who are going to watch this conference later, they are going to say only one thing, that everything is possible in this world, because Matt Allen said, nothing is impossible in this world, right? So thank you so much for enlightening this Macedonian Association platform, very enlightening. I'm so humble and honored to you, and keep creating miracles. You're doing wonderful job. Keep inspiring people, and you are a real miracle for our society and for humanity. And for this, I owe a big respect to you, Matt. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now again, it's time to listen our next eminent speaker. And when I say my next eminent speaker, wow, if I start speaking about her, it will take a day. And without any delay, without any pause, I'm going to neurodiversity coach, helping see autism, dyspraxia, dyslexia, certified life coach, corporate executive coach, and disc practitioner, none other than Shama Khurrana from UK. Shama, the floor is all yours to hit on.
Thank you, Supriya. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Dragan, Supriya, Anuja, for giving me the privilege to speak here today. I feel honored to be here, to be quite honest. And it's very kind. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking today about mental health. And one thing I'd like to always do is to actually define what the best source is the Mental Health Act of 1983. It defines the condition of any various disorders in which a person's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors are abnormal as to cause suffering to themselves or to other people. Sounds familiar, anyone? Have we all been there? A little thumbs up, just to show. Yeah. So this act has been amended, as you can imagine, as time moves on, because we are all moving on. And as you can all imagine, traditionally, anyone diagnosed with mental health was sanctioned and put away somewhere. And sometimes we never heard of them again because they were considered unsafe for society. And it was a huge, huge stigma, and nobody really wanted to talk about it. But wow, has times changed? So today we're talking about the 21st century, right? What has happened to the world in our lives that have made this change? The biggest reason, technology. By golly, has it changed our lives? Our traditional working. I remember when I first started my work, 9 to 5, and we were out. That is now a very distant memory. I don't think it's the same for anyone, especially anyone on this call today. Please don't get me wrong. Technology is wonderful, right? So many advantages. We wouldn't be able to do the things that we do today, right, if it wasn't for technology. We are becoming a beautiful global community, and today is a prime example. Sorry. Now in balance, let's have a look at all these wonderful things that technology has created. Humans, on the whole, are suffering, both mentally and physically. But what I would like to do today is to actually bring awareness, as that's how Supriya actually announced what I do. How can these signs and symptoms be recognized, not just for yourself, right, but for others, members of your family, your loved ones, anyone who's around you? Is there anyone that you know is suffering more with headaches, migraines, nausea, loss or increase of appetite? When I say loss or increase, parents, it's increase. Oh, not really possible, but yes, because you have those sugar rushes, you have lots of things that your body suddenly needs. Spots and blemishes, and that's not just for women, it's for men as well. Loss of hair. Gastric issues, as lots of acids that start developing in your body makes you very comfortable. Losing or gaining weight. Again, somebody says, I can understand the losing weight, gaining weight. Can you imagine us sitting at our desks all day in, day out, eating, especially carbs? I do that all the time. I sit here and I graze all day. What's the results? Shortness of breath, for example. So when we're having a conversation, suddenly we're gasping for breath. Why is that suddenly happening? So these little things are some things that you could look out for signs and actually acknowledge them. Why is this happening? Why are these changes suddenly happening? There'll be behavioral changes as well. Isolation. Some people are so exhausted or there's so much buzzing on in their head that they don't want to talk to anybody. Lack of sleep. That is another one that we all have experienced. The other side is too much sleep. We're so exhausted. What about frustration? Snapping at people unnecessarily, overreacting to situations. And this is a strong one, feeling incompetent because we are racing to keep up with the world. And what suffers? You and your closest loved ones. So your relationships will get the back slap of that. So get some balance back into our lives. So what can we do? What can we do to do that? Quite simple and completely nice things. Because I don't know whether it's just ladies or whether it's men as well. What we tend to do, if we start thinking about ourselves and doing something nice to us, I get the guilt trip. Because I've been a mom, right? And I was thinking, Should I really be doing that for myself? I better do this, I better do that, better do that. So that we always push ourselves to the bottom. There's simple things that we can do. Listen to some music. Take some time out and actually listen to some music. Take nature walks. Socialize, because you're so frustrated in your work and, you know, with the global communities that we've got, we've lost that side. Go to the gym. If that's really gets your endorphins going. I do lovely thing. I think it's lovely. I sing while I'm cooking, while I'm walking around. My son says, is that what you call it? So he doesn't think I sing very well. So being kind to yourself is a huge, huge thing that you can do. Today, I'm going to use the anagram for all of us for cry, C-R-Y, which clearly how we can feel in certain situations. So if we take the first C, so what are we actually feeling? Chaos, craziness, commotion, clumsiness, calamity. Would you agree? This is where we are. Can we have a little thumbs up? Is this the way we feel when we're dealing with our lives? All that we need to do, right, is just take a few moments. We need to move our mindsets. We are in charge of this whole body, and we can give ourselves just that little bit of time, and we can move our mindset. I'm going to give you some words for R. Relaxation, regards, relationships, relevance, so that you can become resilient again. So if you just join me, we're just going to do a very short breathing exercise, which is what I use with many of my clients. You can keep your eyes open or you can close them. Okay, the choice is yours. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all to breathe through your nose. And when I ask you to breathe out, I don't know if you've been to McDonald's, they have those big wide straws, don't they? Almost imagine you're breathing out through that straw. So you're going, because that's going to be slower. Okay, so are you all ready? Like I said, if you want to close your eyes, feel free. If you just want to keep them open, feel free again. But I will count you in with your breathing. So remember, breathe through your nose. So breathe, and it's going to be a deep breath. So breathe, start your breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1. Now in your next breath, I want you to imagine those words of chaos, craziness, commotion, clumsy, actually move across to the relaxation, the relevance, the regards, the relationship, so that you become resilient. So once again, we're going to take that breath. So we're going to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1. Was there a slight shift? And just do it once again. And I'll let you again take that deep breath. Make sure that breath goes all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. So when you breathe in, fill out those lungs, and your rib cage, you should feel it with the sides of your arms. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, and breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now let's address the why. Who are you doing this for? For yourself, your health, your inner peace. You'll even feel youthful. Your energetic self will return. And a great practice for this can be through yoga. How's everyone feel? Okay. We can move forward with the world, but at what cost are we doing that? One first cost is yourself. Okay. So what should we do? Who's important? Who's most important? It's you. You're not any good to anybody if you are not in the right place. So as Dr. Dragon said, it's okay not to be okay and step back now and again. It is acceptable. You're not showing signs of weakness at all, because that's the other thing. Oh, if I show I'm tired, if I can't cope, people think I can't cope, I'm weak, I'm not able to do this. No, it's okay. So fill your cup with self-love and self-care. The overflow of that self-love and self-care will automatically look after your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, and your global community. My name is Sharma Khurana. I'm a neurodiversity coach. I am the Neurodiversity University. And what do? I advance awareness of the uniquely brilliant minds.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Sharma.
everybody.
And the way you are inspiring world, we all are observing on social media. So thank you so very much for enlightening this wonderful global conference, Sharma. Once again, thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after UK, it's time to move to Philippines. And when I say the country Philippines, I remember one very versatile person who is doing wonders today. He's speaker, he's organizer, he's a multi-talented person. And when I say multi-talented person, it is obvious I am talking about, yes, I'm talking about Raymond Josenko Benzula, who is a certified food protection manager from Canadian Institute for Food Safety, certified guest service professional, American Hotel and Lodging Association, licensed professional teacher, Professional Regulation Commission, and whatnot. So without any introduction or any speech or delay, Raymond, the floor is all yours to enlighten, to hot on or rock on, whatever you say.
Thank you so much, Dr. Supriya, for having me here in our prestigious global conference about mental health challenges in the 21st century. So I have here prepared a slide. Can I share it here? Can you make me a co-host, Dr. Supriya?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Okay, can you see my slide? Okay, so once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and mabuhay from the Philippines. And first thing first, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Macedonia Dosa Shreka International, especially to Dr. Dragan, Dr. Supriya, and of course, Dr. Anuja for inviting me to this highly significant global conference. So it is my honor and privilege to stand before you today as one of the guest speaker addressing one of the most pressing issues of our time, the mental health challenges in the 21st century. So this global conference provides a crucial platform to discuss and raise awareness about the urgent need for action and support in this field. So today, in today's fast-paced and interconnected world, mental health challenges have become a pervasive issue affecting individuals from all walks of life. And according to the World Health Organization, approximately 1 in 4 people worldwide will experience mental health issues at some point in their lives. So these statistics underline the scale of the problem we face, making it imperative for us to tackle mental health challenges head on. So, health can be defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. It encompasses various aspects of an individual's well-being, including their physical, emotional, and social state. So when we speak of mental health, on the other hand, it is pertaining to a person's emotional, psychological, and well-being, social well-being. It affects how individuals think, feel, and act, and determines how they handle stress, make choices, and related to others. Mental health is essential at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. So, now moving on to the components of mental health challenges in the 21st century, it is important to note that mental health issues can vary widely and affect individuals differently. However, some common components of mental health challenges in the 21st century includes several factors contribute to the increasing prevalence of mental health challenges in the 21st century. Firstly, the increased stress level. Modern life is often characterized by fast-paced work environments, financial pressures, and social expectations, which can lead to heightening stress levels. Chronic stress can negatively impact mental health. Another one is the advancement of technology. It is transformed the way we live and work, leading to increased stress and anxiety. The constant pressure to be connected and the fear of missing out contribute to the decline in our mental well-being as well. While technological advancement have brought numerous benefits, they have also introduced new challenges with the rise of social media and digital platforms. Individual face issues such as cyberbullying, social isolation, and addiction, which can negatively impact mental health. The third one is changing societal norms. Sociocultural changes and shifting societal norms can contribute to mental health challenges. Issues such as gender identity, discrimination, and body image concern have become more prominent in recent years, affecting mental well-being. The fourth one is accessibility to mental health support. Despite increased awareness of mental health, access to mental health services and support remains a major challenge in many parts of the world. Limited availability, affordability, and stigma surrounding mental health can prevent individuals from seeking necessary help. Another one is the modern lifestyle. It puts immense pleasure on individuals to excel in various aspects of their lives, be it at work, school, or in personal relationships. This pressure often leads to burnout, depression, and other mental health disorders. And moreover, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. It has only exacerbated these challenges. Social isolation, fear, and uncertainty have taken a toll on our collective mental health. The pandemic has highlighted the need for robust mental health support systems that can adapt to challenging circumstances. Now, moving on to the importance of mental health. Mental health is vital for overall well-being, and it is just as important as physical health. So here are some reasons why mental health is important. Number one, improve quality of life. Good mental health is associated with improved quality of life and the ability to lead a fulfilling life. It helps individuals to cope with life stressors and make positive choices. Another one is positive relationship. Good mental health is essential for building and maintaining healthy relationship. When an individual has good mental health, they can communicate more effectively, express their emotions positively, and build stronger emotional connections with others. The third one is the increased productivity. Good mental health enables individuals to focus better, be more efficient, and concentrate on their tasks, resulting in increased productivity. Physical health benefits. Mental health is linked to physical health. Poor mental health can lead to various negative physical health. The health consequences such as chronic illnesses, weakened immune systems, and reduced lifespan. Another is reducing the burden on healthcare resources. Good mental health reduces the need for medical care and services, which can ultimately relieve the burden on healthcare resources. And number six, reduce societal costs. Improving mental health can have a positive impact on the economy by reducing individual and societal costs associated with mental health conditions, such as lost productivity and increased treatment costs. Now, there is a wide range of mental health issues, each with its own set of signs and symptoms. Here are some common signs and symptoms that may indicate the presence of a mental health issue. Number one, the persistent sadness or feelings of hopelessness. Feeling down, experiencing excessive guilt, or having a pervasive sense of despair. Changes in appetite or weight. The significant weight loss or gain due to changes in eating habits. Sleep disturbances. The difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or experiencing excessive sleep. The loss of interest or pleasure. Losing interest in activities once enjoyed, experiencing a lack of motivation or enthusiasm. And another is fatigue or lack of energy. The feeling excessively tired or lacking energy even after sufficient rest. Then another one is the difficulty concentrating or making decision, having trouble focusing, experiencing memory issues, or finding it difficult to make even simple decisions. Then irritability or agitation, feeling easily irritated, restless, or experiencing uncontrollable anger. Social withdrawal, avoiding social interactions, isolating oneself, or experiencing a decline in social relationships. And unexplained aches or pains, physical symptoms such as headaches, stomach aches, or body pains without any apparent medical cause. changes in the behavior or mood, noticeable and persistent changes in behavior, mood swing, or extreme emotional reaction. Then another one is anxiety or excessive worrying. Having excessive worry, fear, or panic attacks that interfere with daily functioning. And the last one is suicidal thoughts or self-harming behaviors. Having thoughts of self-harm or a desire to end one's life, this is a critical symptom that requires immediate attention and intervention. Now, what are some ways for us to look after our mental health? Number one, practice daily self-care. This includes things like getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, and engaging in regular physical exercise. Practice stress-reducing activities like including meditation, yoga, mindfulness, or any other activity that helps you relax and unwind. Another one is to seek support from loved ones. That is most important thing. Talking to family and friends about your feelings and emotions can be beneficial for your mental health. And then connect with others. Joining social groups or clubs can help you connect with others with similar interests and improve your overall social support. Avoid substance abuse. Avoid excessive drinking, smoking, or using drugs as they can negatively affect your mental health. And of course, seek professional help. If you are experiencing any mental health issues, such as anxiety or depression, it is important to seek professional help from a mental health professional or a healthcare provider. Engage in enjoyable activity, whether it's reading a book, watching a movie, or trying a new hobby to help boost your mood. And of course, taking regular breaks throughout the day can help reduce stress and prevent burnout. Set realistic goals. Taking manageable steps toward achieving them can help improve your self-esteem and boost your mental health. And be kind to yourself, of course. Avoid negative self-talk and practice self-compassion by treating yourself with kindness and acceptance. So, to address these challenges, we must adopt a holistic approach that includes prevention, early intervention, the stigmatization, and access to mental health care for all. Education plays a vital role, starting with schools and universities, where emotional well-being should be integrated into the curriculum alongside physical health. Awareness campaigns should be launched globally, targeting communities, workplaces, and the media. We must promote open discussion about mental health, break down stereotypes, and encourage people to seek help without fear of judgment. Sharing personal stories and experiences can be a powerful tool to normalize conversations surrounding mental health. Additionally, government must invest in mental health services, ensuring that they are accessible, affordable, and culturally sensitive. Health systems should prioritize mental health as an integral part of overall well-being, allocating adequate resources to train mental health professionals. On an individual level, self-care practices such as mindfulness, healthy lifestyle choices, and maintaining social connections can positively impact mental well-being. It is crucial to create supportive environments where individuals feel comfortable seeking help and can find solace in their communities. So it is important to remember that everyone's experience with mental health issues may be different, and not all symptoms mentioned above may apply to every individual. So if you or someone you know is experiencing any of these symptoms, it is important to seek professional help from a mental health professional or a healthcare provider to receive an accurate diagnosis and appropriate treatment. So, the mental health challenges of the 21st century demand our immediate attention and collective action. By acknowledging the scale of the problem, raising awareness, promoting open conversations, and investing in accessible and comprehensive mental health services, we can create a world where mental well-being is a priority for all. So let us work together to build a future where mental health is treated as diligently as physical health, ensuring that no one suffers in silence. Remember, uh, it is okay to not be okay, but it is not okay to stay that way. So that's all my presentation. Thank you very much. And let us seize this opportunity to reshape the world's approach to mental health in the 21st century. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Much gratitude, Raymond, for your beautiful presentation and insightful views. That's really, really, we all liked it. And you can see a lot of messages in Zoom chat. Wow, wow, wow. So this is really amazing. Keep doing your fabulous work. God bless you. Keep rocking. All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, dear ladies and gentlemen, after Philippines, it's time to go back to one beautiful city. That's my dream to visit. And that dream beautiful city is Croatia. And when I say Croatia, I remember only one name, Professor Nada Ratkovic. This professor is a so talented person that if I speak, it will take a day, but still I will speak. She is an assistant professor on Faculty of Economics, business and tourism professor, mentor in vet school, president of IIU Research Center, co-founder Europe, author, researcher, trainer, humanitarian, and social worker. So Professor Nada, the floor is all yours to rock on. Kindly enlighten your beautiful, awesome, insightful views with the world today.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Supriya. Thank you for this invitation. I want to thank our great Dr. Dragan, our great Anuja, you, and Dozia Srekia Macedonia for this wonderful conference. Really honored to be here and talk on this topic. I want, please, can you enable me to share? Okay.
Yes, you can, Nada.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, like an educator, let me, Raymond, make an amazing presentation. I will go and talk from the side from education, because I'm working in the high school and I'm working on the university. So for us, very important today topic, and I will say what it means: students' health and well-being. We know that every day when we get up in the morning, we need to take a deep breath, not only once, 3 deep breath, and then say, we are feeling good, because if we think that we are not good, the whole day will be spoiled. So only positive, just a moment, only positive vibes, positive mindset, and let us share this positive nuggets of the wisdom. So you see here so many logos. I want to say that we are Erasmus, we are A-Twinning, we are working with the Agency for the Mobility. We are developing the competences together. This tree is like we. So according to all 17 SDGs, involving in everything what we are doing in our European projects, in our teaching, in our curricula, everything. Especially when we are talking about this mental health, we are according to this SDG 3 called ensure healthy opportunities for all health in the SDG era. So we today are really facing so many challenges. And how can I be an educator if my mental health is not good? So we really need first to think on that, because if we are not a stable person, if we are nervous, if we don't have a smile, if we are not a positive person, we cannot work like an educator. You know that somebody asked Professor Nada for working in a school, university. I would use the most hardest psychology test, because today still in our educational institutions, we have so many educators who really are not stable with their mental health. We know that situation with Corona that we today live very hard, and everything is happening around us, but nothing we need to take care about that. Nothing, we don't need to bring or give anybody or anyone to attach us, to destroy us, or to have something, a negative feeling on us. So I would really make this test for the educators, because you cannot be a person if you cannot control yourself, your emotional intelligence. There's so many educators who are changing their behavior, changing their type of. So now they're crying. After a few minutes, they're smiling. That needs to be controlled. That needs to be controlled. And I will repeat, how can you be an educator for the students if you are such a that type of person? So what does a teacher and what this make a point for them in the school? How do schools and the people look after their well-being? So many questions, so many different. We are all different, but we need to collaborate. We need to collaborate through the world. We in Europe are really collaborating a lot. We have so many different types of education projects. We go to the mobility. I always go to the mobility 1 month with the zero. I don't need money to travel. I don't need money to eat. So we have a funds. We have a lot of funds in Europe. So starting from that, we need to think about this absence of the illness. So teacher well-being is meaning noticing, nurturing, sustaining, and flourishing in the schools. So a lot of practices, a lot of strategies need to be used. We need to nurture our well-being for the priority of the work. So shifting our mindset is the first thing. I already say that if you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care about the people who are relying on you. You know, today we are here on this social medias. We are today meeting so different type of people. And honestly, sometimes I'm really scared when I met some persons and see how bad they are, how they're, I can use a word like evil. So I pray every day to God and say, God, take care of this people and that thing. So it is really difficult for us. I will repeat, how can you be an educator and be such a person like that? So we cannot affect our stressors, but we can change the reactions to them. These things are important. You know, I always, with my students, you need to always have few minutes free. because they need to talk with you. They're all not only according to the lesson, not according to the workshop. Today, they are all living hard. We are all living hard. Students are coming from the divorced family. Students don't have the parents. They are living with the grandmothers, grandfathers. So how to take care, how to help that students? We need to have that ability to listen and to help the students. So many today pandemic makes, but these things, this work, we need to give them the safety. We need to support them. We need to enrich them. And also each one needs to be equal for us. We don't need to make difference because, so many times students ask me, Professor Nada, professor from the math don't like me. Why? No, we don't work to like you or not like you. All students to us need to be equal. To each one, we need to give a world of courage. Help them. Sometimes, especially if that classroom is yours, hours and hours. Like example, I practice with my students the math because if they have a test, if then they are going to be depressed, and that is issuing their mental health. So we need to reimagine our futures together, we educators with our students. What is next for the students? You see, Dr. Supriya will say, Nada has again this beautiful heart, because today, heart, peace in heart, loving heart, everything in heart. So this island in a form of heart is important because we want to achieve the peace, and that is the only way. So we are focusing on the balance of our mind. We want to make so many challenges. So let's also keep our mental health, and that is the best way to create a calm, compassionate young people who are surrounded with us, caring for them. So a real need. Take care about their life, understand their needs, understand their actions, understand their calling. So that is our mission. That is our mission, how to help our students. So this will of the well-being, we need to do it. Pardon. Emotional, spiritual, financial, relational, physical, professional. What it means financial. Today, we need to support also financial. We need to bring the meals in the school. Today, so many students don't have money to buy a meal. That is a way to support them financial, to buy the main things, to buy the books, to buy the clothes. We always make voluntary action. So somebody say we are volunteering on the global level. Yes, first we are volunteers in our local community, on our national level, and then we are going on the global level. But we are really acting. We already this month send so many help to different countries. We are also having our students every year. We choose a student from Africa, or we have a priest who help us, and then that is our student, like other students might, and we are sending the money, sending the things what they need. So that is helping improving the mental health and the well-being of our students. And if I have a student who has a smile, then Professor Nada also have a smile. But if I see that my student have a problem, then we need to solve that problem. So this is the types: keep claiming, connecting, giving, being active, giving to other. not asking only, give me, give me. I always say, I have, more I give, more I get. And really, there are so many days that I say, oh, I don't have money. But after that, I get a call, I get a new things where I can get money. So if you have a heart, if you have a willing to giving, that is the most important thing for the mental health. Helping old, helping students, helping children. So if you have that in yourself, that is the best medicine. That is the best medicine. And I will say, Dr. Dragan's plants, teas, and you, how you are acting. That is the best medicine for the mental health, having healthy habits, learning the healthy habits about this education, food sustainability, system changes, and all. And coming to this nutrition, it is very important what we are eating. How can we be good if we are hungry? So many hungry today. So we need to prepare the healthy foods. So many students are taking the food from their home because they are buying the eco food, the eco fruits, the eco vegetables. So we need to recognize these choices. We need to do this to be supported. But I will repeat again, we need this nutrition education. We need the things which will help us to think better. If we are hungry, we cannot also think. So for all who are educators, I hope that all are doing on this way as I'm doing, because I'm only then happy. I'm only then happy and can have a smile on my face. So that is for me the mental health. That is thinking, helping, acting, not only talking. So many people are only talking. I don't see what they are doing. I never see the actions. I only heard the words. So I will start here because Professor Nada can talk till tomorrow. I have a limit. Thank you. Thank you for my presentation is big, but we will stop here. We will have so many opportunities to continue with this amazing topic because this is a very crucial topic for us, for our students, for environment, for the society. There is no economic growth without a healthy nation. A healthy nation cannot be healthy if we don't have a positive mindset, if we can carry our emotional intelligence. So let us doing the best what we can do with the knowledge what we have, and let us continue learning about this very important topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Nada, for always enlightening with your wisdom. And I'm so honored to listen to your insightful views. And of course, your presentation, really awesome, mind-blowing. Thank you so much, Nada. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks, Dr. Dragan, you, Anuja, for this amazing conference.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after Croatia, it's time to go for that country which is famous for global financial center. And of course, if I say that is beautiful Merlion. And this time we have Thomas Hoon. Welcome, Thomas, to our global conference. And it's really, really pleasure to be with you and with all our eminent dignitaries. Thomas Hoon is a leadership business strategist, mental health expert, sales management, and a business planner. So without any pause, without any delay, the floor is all yours, Thomas. Kindly enlighten the world.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya. Thank you, Dr. Dragan. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and friends, I'm actually deeply honored to be invited to this gathering today. Standing before you, I wish to share a story a story that embodies resilience, hope, and profound belief in our ability that can shape our destinies. It's a narrative of triumph over adversity. It's my story. Life is never perfect. Do you agree? You agree with me, right? Life is never easy. I actually understood the meaning the day I was born. I was unfortunately born with an atrial septal defect, ASD, which is in layman's term, a hole in the heart. So I could not know anything. I could not feel any pain because I was only 9 months old when I was detected with this disease. I was sent to the operating theater to save my life when I was 9 months old. So there was basically no recollection of whatever that has happened. There's no fear. I have to rely on my parents to tell me that I was lucky to be alive because out of the 6 babies that went for procedure, only 2 came out alive. And I was one of them. So I was thankful to God that He has given me a second chance. So when I grew up, I often questioned my parents why I was so different. I couldn't participate in any sports. I couldn't take part in any activities that require a lot of physical exertions, unlike my peers. So my parents explained to me it's for my own protection. At that age, when you're young, you actually got angry when your parents stopped you from doing anything. So I wrestled with the thought, hey, I'm going to prove to the world that nothing could hold me back. I began building my immune system and I began building my physical strength. And despite not having the body that a natural athlete could have, I was able to overcome my physical limitations. I was able to run. I was able to play basketball and football like any other kids eventually. I even earned several medals in sports, football during my school years, competing with those more able bodies despite my physical limitations. I proudly led my team in a basketball competition during my national service, during my army. I also won 3 futsal championships in Singapore in my adulthood. So given that, I'm very proud of what I achieved, despite that I was born with a hole in the heart. So it was a 360 degrees turnaround for me. So when life appeared to be stabilizing, life actually threw another curveball. This time round, I was awarded the dreaded cancer. Doubts began to fill my thoughts. Why me? Why me again? This period was actually exceptionally tough for me mentally and physically because my career was in jeopardy. I was working for a boss who was displaying no empathy for my health because he asked me to go back to the workplace 3 days after removal of my cancerous tumor. Simultaneously, my marriage with my high school sweetheart was crumbling. And I began to question the very essence of my existence. Why I am here? I went into profound depression, where each day seems burdened with overwhelming sadness, hopelessness, and loss of interest in life's activity. And it's causing me to withdraw from people around me. So I stopped talking to people, I stopped going to work. It felt as though I was trapped in an endless cycle of misfortune, and the only way to get out of it was to end it. But in the midst of this darkness, I found my lifeline in Buddhism. I'm not here to preach about Buddhism, but I'm here to share with you my story, how Buddhism became my sanctuary during these turbulent days of cancer diagnosis and treatment. Providing me with a solace and renewed sense of purpose, I decided to fight back and not give up because there's lots of people caring for me. I'll be letting all of them down if I just give up like that. So daily meditation helped me dispel a lot of negative thoughts and bring peace back to my mind. I grew stronger each day. and my negative thoughts no longer bother me. Moreover, I began integrating Buddhist principles in my interactions with others, as well as business practices, leading to a profound transformation in me. This spiritual journey has guided me towards a more simpler, more minimalist way of life. So fast forward to present day, I'm happy to announce that I've been cancer-free since 2013. My career has took me to China, where I've called home for the following decade. So during this time, I have the privilege of starting my own business. I have the privilege of overseeing projects for renowned companies like Google, Yahoo, Amazon, Tencent, Baidu, and many others. Today, the reason why I'm sharing this story is a testament of the enduring power of resilience and determination. Serving as a reminder that even when confronting with life's most formidable trials, there's always path to healing and recovery. So your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your unguarded thoughts. Thank you for having me here today.
This is called when life gives you lemon. Thomas, you hit the lemon back to the life. That's all I can say from your very inspiring story, because having a heart hole and then finally diagnosed with cancer, but you kept moving on and on, on and on. And that's called you are mentally very strong. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, when you are mentally strong, even physical ailment can't stop you from accomplishing your goal. So hats off to you, Thomas, for such an inspiring, amazing, and you really enlightened this global conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after Singapore, we are moving back to India. And now my next speaker is really a very hardworking, great inspiring personality, co-founder and CEO, the Nishtula Group of Companies, Sehaj Yogi, author, passionate, problem solver, innovating the future, bridging technology and creativity by transforming visions into reality. And he has transformed visions into reality. So without any delay, I would love to welcome my next speaker, Shubho Patisanyal from India.
Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you so much, Anuja. Thank you so much, Dr. Dragan. And it is absolutely an honor to be in this august audience. And am I being heard clearly? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's absolutely an honor, and it was the entire experience till now has been totally inciting. And when we talk about mental health, I always thought that we normally hear specialists and people who address these areas. They share their insights, and it's so amazing to hear everybody's insights. Brother Thomas Hohn's beautiful experience, his journey, and how he wins and his winning journey, and Dr. Dragan's beautiful comment. And what a wonderful thing about Professor Nada, how beautifully she expressed the fact that solutions are imperative. It's just not talking about it, but doing something about it. And of course, our dear Shama's beautiful exercise and her insights that pleased us. Now, having said that, today I would share a little bit of my journey, which primarily consists of the manifestations of not a very stable mental environment, in the sense that I'm talking something which is right in my starting from my teenage days, which is very long ago. So I'm talking about 30 years ago, probably 35 years ago, and during that moment, or probably more. So what I was manifesting, and believe me, when I say the words that I'm saying about the experiences I'm talking about, it's very, very uncommon. I'm talking about mid 80s, where things like anger is not supposed to be very common, and that too in a society like India. So we're supposed to be brought up in a very disciplined environment, but certain crises in a teenager's life, primarily anger. And another thing that I primarily had to face a lot, which I'm sure it still exists, and it exists very strongly, is basically the fact that I was fighting against a lot of competition. We are not supposed to be, the best in what we are, but here, being part of a huge family, and in India, the family structure is always very, very huge. And it doesn't necessarily mean my direct brothers and sisters, but it also includes a lot of other people involved in the family. And, I realized that I was right at the bottom of the ladder with everything when it comes to, playing games or in studies or, doing anything, except for the fact that I used to write very well. That's the only place that I was excelling otherwise. And that actually was absolutely meaningless, because my writing poems and stories were not giving me good scores in my exams. So, so that was a major competition that I internally inside my family I was facing, and it all brewed up. And as I grew, I entered in my 20s. I succumbed to things like substance abuse and a lot of anger issues. And I, at that very tender, because I'm saying tender because in late 80s and early 90s, something like anxiety neurosis is absolutely unheard of in those years. Because we never had exposure. We never knew what computers were. We never knew what a cell phone is. So it was that landline. So our exposure was to the world that we found or saw through our friends and our elders and the people who we came across. So having said that, I'm suffering from something like anxiety neurosis. I lost sleep, I had no idea, I had no direction. And to top it, I succumbed to a lot of substance abuse in terms of tobacco and alcohol. But then, luckily, it was my perseverance to find a solution that I found a way. And I would just brush through a small presentation that I have created. I was just, just to give you an insight as to what I primarily, because in terms of data and everything, my very honorable and esteemed friends and brothers and sisters out here, they have already covered. And there's nothing, more that I can share, but just an insight. I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay, so, these are just data I'm going to brush through, and then we have things like it's anxiety and depressive disorders as the most common mental disorders affecting over 260 million people. And then the most disturbing and most alarming and most serious, very, very serious concern is 1 in 7 of 10 to 19-year-old experience a mental disorder. And when I read this data, and I remembered nothing has changed over the years. I mean, with the advent of internet, more proactively, with the advent of communication, easier communication, with the advent of freedom in a larger sense in terms of exposure, has not changed anything. And as we see the common disorders, I'm not a specialist, I'm just a businessman. And I am talking from my perspective, the way I see mental anxiety, as I will probably not be able to, express on a lot of medical aspects and things like that, but just the way I see it, things like anxiety, depression, the things I see among my colleagues, among my associates, among the employees that I can identify, things like PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and substance abuse. Now, substance abuse obviously is something that I had been through. Now, why? Let's understand before we, and I'm going to talk about solutions today. I love talking about those. Not too much on the problems, but we need to know what the problems are before we go into solutions. So things like genetics, brain chemistry, life experiences, trauma, stress, substance abuse, and medical conditions. So what is the solutions? What are the solutions we are looking at? Of course, seeking professional help. There are wonderful people all around us. And we just need to say, we need to give a shout. We need to, just shout out that, I need your help. You know stuff about this. You know how to deal with this in whatever capacity probably you have dealt with and gone through. Like our brother Thomas, somebody reaches out to him and just gives a shout out, just get me through with it. And then building a support network, have people around you, that helps. But the third and most important thing, as Professor Nada had so beautifully expressed, that taking care of yourself. That is the thing. When we seek professional help, yes, we can do that. But that, you suppose we go to a specialist, we spend an hour. We have a support network, we spend a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. But that's out of 24 hours. That the rest of the time we are with ourselves. And that is where we need to focus, where we need to take care of ourselves. Now, there are a lot of things when we can take care of ourselves. We have lifestyles, we have diabetes, we have diet, we have exercise, we have medical solutions. These are all there. These are all there. And then meditation. Now, when I talk about meditation, that is something that has changed my life for the last 26 years. And from the time it has changed, I have, by the grace of God, I have been able to change the lives of thousands and thousands of people across the globe. And, in meditation also, a person like me, because people like us have faced through a lot of things, and it's difficult for us to have trust. I have a solution, but can I trust it? Because the first thing that comes to my mind is, you have no idea what I've been through. So, how do you know this solves my problem? As simple as that. And then I realized that there are so many meditations and other things that there are meditations where I found people doing funny things, shouting funny things, going on chanting and things like that. When I looked around, what was important to me was something first that empowers me, that gives me the power to know my own self. And then secondly, gives me the power to solve my problem. I needed a meditation that is going to do exactly that. I didn't want a meditation that is going to, put me in between people, a group of people who would be judging me, who would be giving their opinion, but rather I would prefer a meditation, a simple thing that I can do at my leisure time. If I want to get up in the morning and do it, I'll do it. And if I want to do it for 5 minutes and find a solution, I would do it. Because I know what I'm going through. Nobody knows my problem better than me. And nobody can express my problem better than what I can do. So when I look at, and then when I see the problems that way, I would rather have a meditation that principally empowers me. And in my search, and during those turbulent times, and I'm talking about 26 years ago, I came across Sahaja Yoga. That's a meditation. The first thing that hit me, and can meditation take care of the rest? Yes, and this is from my experience. I thought, there's consultation and a support group and any other things. But as I was saying, something that empowers me. So yes, meditation did take care of a lot of things. In fact, everything. And that's what I was saying, that I don't need exercises, I don't need diets, I don't need regimes, I don't need funny chantings or funny actions and stuff like that. I don't want to make a joke of my problem. I don't want to make a mockery of my problem. My problem is serious, and I need serious empowerment to solve that problem. And most important thing is, if I have to give my life savings to solve my problem, believe me, I am not solving my problem. I am giving rise to another. Because while solving my problem, if I end up being a beggar, then there's another problem that I need to solve. And then when I go out to solve that problem, I go into that vicious cycle of depression and anxiety and tension and things like that. So all these things, I was looking for what is the answer. And then I came across Her Holiness Shri Mataji. Sahaja Yoga is practiced around 170 nations currently. So a few things that hit me. Number one, she said something like, you are your own master. So it is the only way to know yourself. It is the key to happiness, key to peace, key to health, and key to enlightenment. The fact that she said that you are your own master, then I realized that means it empowers me. It gives me power. And if it gives me power, it gives me the power to know myself. Then it gives me the power to pinpoint all my problems and then finally resolve it. And that's exactly what Sahaja Yoga did. And Sahaja Yoga is completely free of cost, because when Shri Mataji was asked once, this question she was asked in the United States, that, Mother, this gives us so much. It gives us, Shri Mataji, this gives us so much. Why don't you charge? So her question was, who are you going to pay the money to? Because it's your desire. It's your problem, your solution, is your own energy, and it's your desire to connect with the higher energy. So who are you going to give the money to? So she very jokingly said, if you're so money oriented, because with us human beings, we believe that a solution which is very complex and expensive makes sense. So she said, do something, take a lot of money, put it beside you, and then sit for meditation. And when you have a great meditation, give that money to yourself, because you found the solution. So this is basically Sahaja Yoga. This is what changed my life. I mean, this was the solution in my life. And, it's been with me for the last 26 years. And I was a non-believer, if, all of you understand what I'm trying to say, when I came into Sahaja Yoga. So I was a person who has to look at everything like a scientist. I don't judge. I will not judge anything, but I would listen to everything. But then I have to understand the actualization, and what I have learned and what I implement in my business, what I share with my associates, my clients, across the world, is solution is not discussing the problem. Because problems are basically illusions. The truth is solutions. And when it is true, it has to be actualization. If it's a solution, it has actually solved the problem. Actualization is what the experience that we heard from Brother Hoon. That's actualization. That solved this problem. He won. He won his journey. So that's actualization. So anything that we do, it has to actualize. So this is it. And this is what I had to share. I am not a very literate person in terms of, giving you medical insights or other things. Just from a common man's view, I shared my life history, and I just shared my solution. And if you want to know about Sahaja Yoga, you can, in my profile name, you can see the website, sahajayoga.org. And thank you so much, all of you, for listening to me. And I would request you, try this out. It doesn't have a condition. It has nothing to do with religion or anything. It's all about empowering yourself, knowing yourself, finding yourself, and then finding the solutions. And just one thing I wanted to reiterate, all the solutions are inside us. The problem is our minds are ridden with so many things we are struggling with, that our attention keeps on getting shifted to the problems. And we don't get time enough to put our attention on the solutions. And the solutions are right inside. So that's all I would leave you all. And I wish everyone a wonderful life ahead. Everything is going to go wonderful with all of you. I pray for all of you, and thank you so much.
Much gratitude, Mr. Shubho. You really, I mean, was really mind-blowing when you just created a positive, vibrant, how to do the shares yoga. And also, this was really awesome. I don't have any words to describe your versatility and your presentation. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this time from India, again, we are having a very dynamic, very multi-talented personality and very humble personality. And when I say humble, I remember only one word, and that dynamic personality is international awardee, transformational speaker, master trainer, teaching, training, and professional development, President, IETRF Trust, none other than Mr. Pawan Gupta. Mr. Pawan, the floor is all yours. Kindly enlighten your views.
Thank you very much, Supriya. You always come with the new ideas, and which not only, you know, pump the audience, but they pump the speakers too. You know, they are, you know, full of energy, full of strength, and you come across great topics which are need of the day. I was listening to Mr. Thomas. I was really impressed to listen to his story, the struggles. I listened to Nada, and Nada is already, you know, she's always full of energy, and she gives new insights, deliberations. And very soon she is coming to Delhi in a conference next month. I hope. Nada, are you coming this time?
No, I'm not coming. I cannot. I work. I cannot took 3 days. So it's not never good time for Nada. Never.
So
Inga is coming. Inga is coming again.
yes, she is
Nada is
coming.
not.
Thank you very much. Before I start this, you know, we can say interaction rather than, you know, a presentation, because it will take a huge time. Topic is my favorite, but I just want to start, you know, from the word, or you can just phrase, world talk about mental disorders. The world talk about mental disorder, not knowing that they themselves are going through the same. We always talk about others. We always tag others. You know, he is mentally unstable. We keep on giving solution to people. And I'll tell you, as far as the general scenario is concerned, the advice has been given by the people who themselves are not trained to give. Nowadays, as Mr. Shubho, he showed a slide which says, you know, lakhs of, you know, million and million of people are suffering from mental disorders. But the more emphasis should be laid on what are the causes and the reason behind it. We can Google out a hell lot of information related to what all things are going on, what are the factors, what are the causes, what are the effects. But if we start from basic, take students. In past, it was thing of, you know, an elder person, he is getting depressed, he's getting anxiety. Now, if you talk to a mother who is caring about around 5 to 6 years son or daughter, they'll say she is suffering from depression. She is suffering from anxiety. She has got fear phobia. He is not able to perform well. She is pressurized. He is pressurized. But who are the people who are leading this to the kids? Somewhere down the lane, I say, as far as kids are concerned, students are concerned, family members are the ones who should be more protective, who should be more indulged, who should be more cooperative towards students and children rather than schools. As Nada really rightly said, that school gives you time, limited time, for 3 to 5 hours you are with the school. But the rest of the day, you are with the parents, you are with the friends, you are with the co-brothers. So what type of, expectations we have from there? All these mental health problems are not related to external environment. They are related to internal environment. And more if we look into the matter, we dig into the matter, we see that we don't have boundings. Nowadays, family boundings are breaking. There is no time for each other. The word togetherness, the word cooperation has faded away. Only in terms of discussion and all. Because the person who is going in the first stage of depression or anxiety or any type of mental disorder, if suppose he or she should be given the right treatment, or I'll say right intervention at the first stage only, that then they'll not be disturbed and they'll not reach the next stage. They need a support system from family members, from friends, from teachers. But are we doing it? No. We are just telling them, so you are mentally disturbed. Day before yesterday, someone called me. A lady called me and she said, my husband needs psychologist. Sir, please refer someone. Please, he desperately needs. She repeated around 20 times the same, my husband needs a psychologist in 1 minute, Anuja. Then when I suggested, I told her, before your husband, you need. Why? Because if we are not expert, we should not tag anyone that he or she needs psychological interventions, because this is very serious in nature. And especially if I talk about my own country, tagging someone straightforward, that person is mentally disturbed. And they think getting mentally disturbed is a very big curse, which has to be taken care of. Last year, as I was doing my master in psychology, I had a project that was related to job satisfaction and occupational stress. And we found out that 90% of the workforce, they are not only mentally pressurized, they are not only emotionally disbalanced, but they have lost faith in the job. Their vision about the job is zero. And the conclusion of that research was that most of the people are unaware of the things they are going around. Now, how to come out of it? We need certain solution related to your talking to others. One, of course, I was listening to Mr. Sanyal. He said meditation, yes, very importantly. But before that, spare some time for yourself. Do a lot of self-talk. If not a lot, I can say if you can even spend around 10 to 15 minutes sitting idle and just talk to yourself what I am going through, how I can correct myself, give yourself positive affirmations, try to interact with others, start sharing your problems, but with right people who can guide you, who should not misguide you. And more and more, if you will try to just try to cope up with the situation, tell yourself that you are the only person who can help you out first, then 90% of the problem will fade away. When we rely on others to get ourselves out of this mental problems, we get more and more deeper into this, well. So my friends, as time is limited, but I have got certain, giveaways in that, how you can have a better mental management regime that we call MMR. Firstly, time management. Because when we get up in the morning, we are doing a hell lot of activities, numerous in number. At the end of the day, result is not favorable, but we tell everyone that we are working very hard, but we are not getting proper result. We are not getting success. Because we are working hard, but we are not working in a systematic manner. There is lack of time management in that. If we start adhering to that, if we schedule our time, schedule our activity in a proper manner, most of the thing will be done in a successful manner. Secondly, I want to give as a takeaway, that is, just believe in yourself. Because self-belief is very much important than taking advice from others. If you have self-belief, you can correct your emotional disturbance. You can correct your mental disturbances. Unless and until you have believed that you are a person who is going through this mess and you can come out yourself, no problem can be solved. So if you want to be a successful person and a person who will be in a position to say or to push out the negative thoughts from your own self, is you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dragon, Supriya, Anuja, and the whole team of Deza Streza. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pawan. The way you always enlighten, always, cheer us and telling all the insightful views. This is really, really awesome to listen to you again and again. And a great thanks from Macedonian Station to you always.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is heading towards airport and I got a message. So without any pause, any delay, I would love to invite Dr. Eva Eagle Brown, founder, CEO, and president of Eagle Brown Eva, and keynote speaker, award-winning author, global speaker, and life coach. Dr. Eva, the floor is all yours.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm actually literally heading to the airport to go to the UK tomorrow. So it's an overnight flight and to get to the airport. So thank you so much for having me. I am coming to you from my Jamaica home. So I'm sitting outside. It's a bit cloudy because we're in the hurricane season. So inside wasn't as bright. So I thought I'd come outside. So hi, everybody. I was literally trying to grab a cup of coffee and I was like, he's not speaking anymore. So let me just run. So just bear with me a second. 1 second, guys. Let me just tell my daughter to turn off the kettle. Yes. Sorry, thank you, guys. So today I want to talk about, well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Gupta. It was Mr. Gupta, correct. I love what you're talking about. And as I listen to you talk about just work and how people are struggling, I really wanted to talk about emotional well-being. And those are my dogs. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't come outside here. I want to talk about emotional well-being. And I think the reason that I want to take it from the perspective of emotional well-being is because sometimes when we hear the word mental health, we tend to think of it so negatively. And you know, in my culture, I'm born in Jamaica, live between here and England, spent 23 years in the UK. And I remember when I left Jamaica to go to London, mental health was never something we talked about here. Here, it's thought you're mad. It's a dirty thing. There's a stigma, there's a stereotype. And I really love the fact that I went to the UK because it's really opened my eyes to recognize that nothing is wrong with you necessarily. It's just that sometimes there are various factors that impact our emotional well-being. And so this morning, when I speak about the topic, you're going to hear me use the word emotional well-being, which really means mental health. So I want to discuss something that affects each of us. I mean, all of us. And if you sit on this platform, or if you have people who are listening and they are disowning having a challenge at points in their lives with emotional well-being, then they're not being truthful. You see, our emotional well-being encompasses how we feel, how we manage stress, how we form relationships, and how we handle the ups and downs that life throws at us. And it's about our mental, emotional health. And it's just as important as our physical health. And the challenge we have is that so often we do not prioritize our emotional health. We are very much around our physical health. In Jamaica here, I talk very often about how, you know, people would buy the best Gucci, Rocky, come on. People buy the best Gucci, the best Prada, but they're not taking care of their emotional health. And taking care of our emotional well-being means acknowledging our feelings, whether they're joyous or they're challenging. It means seeking support when we need it. And it also means being able to be there for others when they need us. It's also about understanding it's okay not to be okay. I tell my kids all the time, it is okay not to be okay sometimes. And it's a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles. And many of us are in the place where culturally we are embarrassed to talk about how we're feeling. We're embarrassed to say we're not okay today. So let's make a commitment as people today to prioritize our own emotional well-being and be mindful that emotional well-being and emotional health of those around us is as equally important as our own. We need to learn to create a world or a space or a community or homes where seeking help for our emotional struggle is as natural as seeking help for physical ailments. So our children will come to us when they have a cut, something is wrong with their tummy. Can they come to you and say, Mommy, I'm not feeling okay? In my household, we have a cue. My daughter will come and say, Mommy, I'm not feeling okay. And we have a little thing where we say, are you not feeling okay? And I understand what that means, because what she's essentially saying to me is that, Mom, emotionally, I'm not so okay right now. And we have that cue. So if we're in public or she's at work and she calls me like she did this week and she said, Mommy, I'm not feeling okay, I understood what it means. And we don't have to shame, and we don't have to make people stand out, or we don't have to embarrass them. We can find cues and nice little decent ways of being able to support them in their emotional state. We must remember that taking care of our emotional well-being isn't a sign of weakness. And that's what I want to stress today. It is a sign of strength and resiliency and courage. It's a journey we all share. I have struggled with my own emotional well-being, and I have my days, and I'm not embarrassed to say them. There are some days when we had a conversation in our house last week, and I really, I was a little bit upset about it, but then when I refocused, I recognized my daughter is 25 and we live together. I'm a single mom. I've got 2 children, they're British children, and we live, the kids live in Jamaica more than they live in England. I live between. And I'm dumping everything. Some of you might know I'm in politics here, so I do my political life. I support a member of parliament hugely here, and 3 days a week I'm doing politics. I'm the financial controller. I represent him. So I'm the MP some days, and it is challenging. It's a new space for me, and I think just being a public speaker is what got me there. And I have a good relationship with the MP for years. He was my client when I lived in Jamaica, so relationship is what brought me there as well. And when I come home, because it's politics, it's so sensitive, I can't dump it in any place. And I'll just start dumping on my daughter. And last week she said, Mom, is it so hard for you to ask if I have space to take on what you're trying to dump on me. And I was upset. I'm in my head. I was like, but we live together, and that kind of shenanigan. But then when I reflected and I thought about it, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she said, but she's right. And she said, Mommy, not all the time I have space to take on your stuff. Do we seek permission from the people around us in our homes before we dump on them? Because sometimes they don't have this space. And she said, Mommy, I'm setting boundaries. And what she was essentially saying, I'm protecting my emotional well-being. And as her mom in that first space, I couldn't understand it. But then as I reflected, I got it. She said, Mommy, I can't do this today. I don't have this space. So I want to give us some key points to consider when we're discussing emotional well-being. We need to acknowledge our emotions. It's so important that emotional well-being will help. We'll be better at handling it when we recognize and understand our own emotions. It's about being in touch with how we feel, being comfortable with entire spectrum of emotions, whether happy, sad, anger, insecurity, serenity. So we need to be able to acknowledge our emotions. We need to have stress management technique. A very crucial component of being able to handle our emotional well-being is to handle our stressors. We are more stressed now than we've ever been. If you ask your parents, they've never been as stressed as we are. And so our ability to manage the stresses, I have a thing on LinkedIn that I do called Sister Hold My Hand. And last week we spoke about procrastination and overwhelm. And one of the things that we talked about was being able to say no. We have to be able to say no sometimes and not overextend ourselves to be able to literally manage our stresses. And so we have to find coping mechanisms that work for us, such as mindfulness, meditation, exercise, and simply taking time out and sitting in silence and self-care. We need to build resilience, and I'm almost done. We need to learn to build resilience. So we need to understand that emotional well-being equips us with the resiliency to bounce back from adversity. You guys probably know my story. I've been through so many, Doctor, the last time you and I had an interview, we're talking about the film. And I remember you were saying, so I can share with you tonight that we've gotten some funding. The documentary is about to be made. I've had so many. One of my reasons to go to the UK now is that we're having distribution conversations with distributors. The film went to the trailer went to Cape Town Film Festival, and the BFI is really excited about the film. But the film is about adversities. It's about how I've gone through so much in my life. And I say to my kids all the time, if I have not been mad before, I'll never be mad again. Because guys, let me tell you something. Some of the things I've been through, I'm going to tell you, I'm the strongest person I know. I've been raped at gunpoint. I've been homeless. I've had failed marriages. I've been, you name it. I've been robbed. I've been homeless. It's just a plateau of things. But I've learned through it to maintain my emotional well-being. And please tell me how much time I've got left, because I'm almost done. So we have to manage our stress. We need to learn how to build resiliency. It really helps us to bounce back. I talk about bounce back ability. It's about adapting to life's challenges and learning from setbacks rather than being overwhelmed by them. And I always say to my clients when I coach them that rather than swimming against the waves, we need to learn to use them to carry us. And sometimes, what's the point in getting angry and frustrated about something that you can't change? So sometimes you have to just look back at how far you've come, find the tools you use in that situation, and take that set of tools and the lessons you learned and apply them. I keep saying that I am like, I see my challenges like the British weather, it's summer, winter, autumn, spring, but you can have 4 seasons in one. And as I'm planning to go to Europe, I have to be taking on different clothes to make sure that, first of all, I have on trainers on my feet right now. I want to show you, I have on trainers to make sure that on the plane, my feet are warm. That is how we need to build our resiliency so we can pull out what we need. In order for us to have good emotional well-being, we need positive relationships. Jim Rohn says you are a sum total of the 5 most important people in your life that you spend time with. And now healthy emotional well-being is closely linked to the quality of our relationships. So one second, guys, sorry. It's really linked to the quality of the kinds of relationships you have. And if we don't have good emotional relationships, and if we don't have good relationships, then it means, I apologize for that, then it means that we are not building and nurturing positive connections. And that contributes significantly to our emotional well-being. When I have a challenge, I have two people. I call them my root people. I use my relationship like I have the root, the branches, the leaves, and all of that. So we need to know who we have in our corner that we can offload on. And then they also need to be able to offload on us. So please understand that we need to learn to seek support. It is so essential. I cannot stress this enough.
Awesome.
To seek help.
This is Dr. Eva called potentiality, when you will take out your potential work through your hard work, dedication. I really, really appreciate you're heading towards airport, but still you spare time and enlighten this really great global conference. Thank you so much for your great work. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. And you all look after your own emotional well-being. Have a good day.
Awesome.
Bye
Awesome.
for now. Cheers.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to move back to Canada. And when I say Canada, let's hear the stress and positivity coach for busy professionals, director of marketing at Unbound Thinking, advocate for practical positivity, speaker and facilitator, none other than Freeman Bills. Welcome, Freeman, and the stage is all yours to rock on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I have to follow Dr. Ava's now, which, oof, wow, that's like, that bar is here, and I can hope to reach somewhere near that bar because that was incredible. I really love what she had to speak. And I think it actually segues really well into what I'm about to talk with you guys about here as well. I hope everybody's super focused, got your pens and papers ready down here. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to fit a masterclass of stress management and positive living into a 10-minute spot. So we're gonna do our best to do that. If everybody's excited and ready to see that, let me know. Throw some, thumbs up in the chat, throw some celebrations in there. I like the thumbs up in the videos here as well. I love to see it. So we're gonna try to do this. So what we're gonna try to do really quickly is I'm gonna break down what I see as sort of the easiest way to really start managing our stress, start living a more positive life, and start making some big changes. It's 3 easy, simple steps. We're going to break it down really quickly here, okay? The easy steps are: 1, develop easy to start and easy to adopt habits. Step 2, create structure in your life. Step 3, refine, review, and explore them, right? Cool, that was it. So that's, I didn't even take 10 minutes. That's it, we're done. We can move on to I'm just kidding. We're going to break down a little more into some of those. I'm going to try to fit this into it, the 10 minutes that I have here. And if I have time, we'll throw in an interesting story as well. So what I'm going to get into is, firstly, where did these steps come from? So where did I come up with these 3 steps, and why do I believe that they work so efficiently and so well? The first step, which is really about creating habits, creating those small, easy wins in your life. Okay, this is a lot like how we approach our fitness goals in our life. We don't start going to the gym for 10 hours a day. If you were to sign up for a marathon tomorrow, let's say you run 50 kilometers, or that would be 30 something miles. My math is horrible. Right? You wouldn't just start running out the door, tens of kilometers or tens of miles every day. That would be a crazy thing to try to do. You can't approach your mental wellness in the same way. You can't expect yourself to suddenly do all these things that are suddenly going to make things better, make you happier, and make your stress go away. So you have to start small, and you have to start manageable. I kind of think like this in an interesting way. So a lot of people, we tend to have this thought, you've probably heard it around social media, right? But if you want to be happier, you just you got to think happy, you got to be happy, choose to be happy. And I'm like, okay, well, if it was that easy, then we probably wouldn't be having the issues that we have, right? Now you can choose to be happy. What all that does is it sets intent. It sets intent that you want to do something. I akin this to trying to build a house. If you want a house, you can choose, I want a house. That doesn't get you a house though. But what it does get you is the intent to build a house. And I think it's the same way with being more positive and starting to deal with our stress. So I look at this thing and I call it practical positivity. So this is really what it means to be a happier person. These are the things that practically make a difference. The reason they come from our habits is because regardless of how we're feeling, as we know, we're going to have bad days, we're going to have good days. we can rely on these habits to help us live that positive lifestyle, help us deal with our stress in more convenient ways, regardless of what's going on in our environment. We rely on these habits so we can build these habits up. I highly recommend, though, that again, you start easy, start small with these habits, and then build on top of those. It was just the other day I realized this actually, that for some reason, how many of you brush your teeth? I would imagine all of us here on the phone call brush our teeth, right? Yeah. Because why do we brush our teeth? Because we know it's important to our oral hygiene. So we prioritize it every single day. Now, what if we prioritize something that was as easy as brushing our teeth with our mental wellness and our mental hygiene? And we should be. It's as important as our oral hygiene, if not more important. And the interesting thing is, doing something to make your life better can take as much time as brushing your teeth. It's small, it's easy, and you can start doing it. And at the end of this whole thing, I'm going to give you guys what is, in my opinion, the best thing that you can start doing that I promise you will take you less time than it takes you to brush your teeth to make a difference. But think about what those kinds of things could be, right? Maybe it's drinking a couple extra glasses of water at the end of the day. Maybe it's sending a gratitude text to somebody that you really care about and just letting them know how important they are to you. Easy things. They don't have to be crazy. So that's step one, building those habits in your life, starting into those things. Step two is equally as important, but vastly different. Step two, I like to break down to an acronym that I call STOP, S-T-O-P. Now, STOP comes from when I used to be a whitewater rafting guide many years ago. I used to deal with a lot of high stress situations, a lot of rescue situations, a lot of situations where you couldn't just act surely on emotion. You had to let yourself logically do something. So we had an acronym called STOP, which stands for stop, think, observe, and then plan. I realized later on that this could be adapted into our everyday lives and how we deal with our emotions, because in life, bad things are going to happen. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have negative things come up. You're going to have stressful things come up. And if you don't have a mental framework to work through when you do that, what's going to happen is your brain's just going to kind of go into chaos. It'll go into panic mode. But if you can give your brain a structure to actually follow every time it has these negative impacts, or every time it has a stressful situation, now you can begin to break things down. You can look at things logically, and you can begin to move through this in a much more effective way. So let's break this down a little bit more. So stopping is the most crucial part. So before you let yourself go into a negative spiral, before you get overwhelmed or anxious, just remember, okay, hold on, take a moment, take a few deep breaths if you can, right? Stop, center yourself. Think about it a little bit. What is actually going on here? What is the bigger picture problem that's happening right now? Okay, that's really what I'm dealing with here. Okay, observe. Okay, what do I have at my disposal? What tools do I have? What are the pieces that are being played with here, right? What are all the things that are happening and all the things that I have control over here? And then plan. And this is probably the last and most important part of this whole thing. Plan it out, write it down, get it moving. The reason that planning is so important is it stops our brains from just being in this constant state of churn. If we never plan, our brains don't do very well ending something. They just get lost in this overwhelm and this anxiety. And this has probably happened to you before. But then if you just write out, if you plan your way out, even if you can't start that plan, even if the plan is next Tuesday, I will, that helps that brain settle it. It helps it put it aside and go, okay, we've managed that, we've handled it. I don't need to think about it anymore, right? So take all that information you have, plan it out, and I highly encourage you to write this down, okay? The STOP formula has been something that I still use today, and something that most definitely saved my life in many occasions when I used to spend a lot of time on the rivers and stuff like that. So it's a very, very strong tool, and I highly recommend you to start using that. And then that last step, that refine, review, and explore. So what do I mean by that? How do we get into that more? Well, Peter Drucker, who is kind of deemed as one of the greatest management thinkers of all time, has this really great quote that I highly recommend you remember. It's, if you can't measure something, you can't improve it. So oftentimes we start to make these positive changes in our lives. We start to do these things that make us feel better, help us deal with our stress better. And we're like, yeah, this is great. I feel better. I'm doing better. And then 2 weeks later, you feel off again. You feel like, oh, listen to this great speech. I was at this great global conference. And for about a week, I felt better. Things were going good. And then 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, a month, and you kind of feel bad again. You feel off again. And you're like, what happened? What changed? And if you don't know, if you haven't tracked, you can't go back and look. But if you do begin to track these things that you're doing, now, 3 weeks later, when you're like, oh, I feel off. Why do I feel off? You look back at what you're tracking and go, oh, I'm not prioritizing my sleep as much as I was. Or I'm not waking up at the same time I was. I'm not sending those positive gratitude texts to the people that I love anymore. That's what's changed. That's why I now feel the way that I do. So if we're not tracking something, we cannot tell if it's working. We cannot improve upon what is. So again, as we track something, we can also double down on what is working. Because I really believe that it's not incredibly complicated. It's just doing the right things and doubling down on those right things. You don't have to rearrange your entire life, right? Maybe you don't, meditating might not be your thing, right? Meditating for 5 minutes might work, or maybe you need to meditate for an hour. It depends on who you are. And you can't figure out what those things are unless you can track them, unless you explore them, and then double down on what is working the best for you. So that's why that's kind of that last important step. Now, I think I'm just about out of time here, so I'll wrap up really quickly here. One thing, if you forget everything that I've been chatting about here, if you forget the 3 steps, if you don't ever do the STOP model, if you don't kind of start with easy positive things, all I want you to do, I want you to do one thing that's going to make a huge difference. And the reason this makes a huge difference, this isn't just me saying this. There is data that supports this, a ton of data that supports this. There's a really interesting neuroscientist called Dr. Daniel Amen, and I recommend you guys checking out his work if you're curious on kind of how our brain works and why it works. He did this study on our brains and our neurochemistry, and he kind of jumped on the proof that neuroplasticity is a thing. Neuroplasticity is the idea that we can change how our brains are wired, right? And this is why a lot of this works, is because as we begin to do our actions, we begin to actually change the wiring in our brain. And one of the biggest things for this, and he's done multiple studies on the effectiveness of this, is at the end of the day, whether it be in a journal, on your phone, on a piece of paper, on the wall, wherever you need to write something down, right? I want you to write down 3 positive things that happened that day. That's it. You do this for like a week, a month, preferably the rest of your life, but start with just a week. Do this for just a week. Now, what's going to happen is your brain will begin to actually change the way it perceives the world. Because what's interesting about our brains is we can only perceive so much of what happens around us. We cannot take in all the information because otherwise we would be exhausted by about 10 o'clock in the morning. It'd be way too much. So our brains actually filter the information that we're gathering from the world around us. And when we tell it what we want that filter to be, it begins to look for those things. Many of you have probably had this already happen before. Let's say you want to buy a certain type of car, and you now see that car everywhere, right? That's the brain noticing the thing that you're asking it to notice. So by writing 3 positive things down, you're telling your brain every night, hey, I want to notice the positive things that are happening in my life. So not only will you now go to bed after remembering 3 positive things in a much better mind frame than you probably were before, but you'll actually start to notice more positive things in your life. The neurochemistry of your brain will start to be wired to notice those positive things. So that's the one silver bullet that I'll leave you guys with here today to start doing right now to make a big positive change in your life. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is really amazing, Freeman. You really, really incited, and just take out the main important highlighted points, which are really, really helpful for our global audience. And thank you so much for coming over here and sharing a very valuable, insightful views. Thank you so much once again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now after our kings, it is the time for our queen. And queen is NLP queen when I say none other than Dimple Ahuja. Well, this personality is really, really doing wonders. And I have attended one of his NLP session, and trust me, one of the bestest NLP coach I ever met in my life. International coach, life coach, NLP queen. Here is Dimple Ahuja from Canada.
Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you for a great introduction. And thank you, Dr. Dragon. Thank you, Macedonian Association, everyone for inviting me to be at this amazing global conference. I'm really, really honored to see all learned people and listen so much from everyone. Really appreciate Thomas, your story, Pawan, your share, Freeman, amazing tips, Mr. Subbu, for meditation. And I think some are doing a very good breathing exercise. So we have covered almost everything, and I'm here to wind up and compile the things in a proper way so that we all know what we need to do. And I must appreciate Supriya and everyone and all global participants that we have taken a topic, a very hot topic for discussion. That is the mental health. This is the concept or the topic which has not received that significance or importance or attention that has affected our significance in our lives, right? So we all live in the moment of, joy, then there is fear, then there is sadness, then there is emotional thing Eva talked about. All these things are integrated in our life, and how this mental health is going to affect us and what it is. How do we know that we are having the mental health issues? How do we know we need help? If we need help, where to go? We all have lots of discussion. So, where to go? How do we know what we are facing? And I'll show you simple NLP techniques since I'm an NLP coach and a trainer and a life coach. So, I'll do a small techniques like what Sama did, a breathing pattern and other things. So, fun full sessions. I would like you to make me a co host so that I can share my small presentation. Supriya? Yeah.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, this is what we are talking today, and we all have so many definitions and understoods, and we understood that how are we going to cope the challenges of our life. This is all we all have discussed. Even Eva discussed, Pawan and Freeman and Thomas. We are going to learn to cope with the challenges of the life. It is that what mental health means. It is not just like WHO also said, it is just the absence of mental disorder or disability. It is about how are we coping it. So how do we find out if being an NLP way or a scientific coach way, more important for a common person for us is how do we feel right now? What are we thinking? And how are we behaving? That means how are we taking the information from the outside world, and what are we talking to ourselves? That is a linguistic. What are we thinking and how we are behaving? So if we can manage these three things, how are we feeling today? If I'm feeling good, calm, relaxed, I'm at the peak of my mental health. If I'm able to cope up all the stress and challenges of my life, I'm at the peak. If I am positive and I'm planning for my future, we talked about planning here. So that means we are in the peak, and I am having my self esteem is high. I'm learning well. And more important is how are we contributing to the community? What are we taking care of ourselves? How are we taking care of ourselves? And what are we doing with the community people? Someone also discussed, like I think Pawan took a very good point, is who is helping you. That person himself needs to know what that person is feeling and taking the world information. If I'm confident enough to cope up all the challenges of my life, be it anything, if I'm optimistic, I'm setting up my goals, I'm not blaming myself, that means I am at the peak of my mental health. That means I'm good, my mental health is good. But sometimes, how do you know that I need some help? I might need some assistance. And we all discussed the assistance. I'll come to it, the treatments and discussion. But the thing is, how do you know that you are having some problem? Sometimes what happens is I'm not the way I am. This is what I noticed in myself. When I moved to Canada, I was before in Mumbai working in a corporate industry from last 30 years. I was so confident. I felt like I can be the Prime Minister of India. At that age, I thought I can take over the world. I can do anything. And then I noticed after a few years that confidence has gone down. I'm sleeping too much. I'm eating at random, putting on weight, consistently low energy, don't feel like talking to anybody, don't feel like, going with the family get together, no friends no more. And I'm not enjoying the way I used to enjoy my life. Then I thought of, okay, something is bothering me. We also hear some voices, that self negative talk. I'm not good enough. I cannot do it. This place is boring. I wanted to go back. I wanted to do this. And I'm so confused. What should I do? Even the normal daily routine work, we are confused sometimes. What should I cook? Simple. What should I wear? What should I do? I don't have a goal. I don't have a thing. That means these all things shows us the sign that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of our mental health. And most important, the outburst is the anger and the fear. I love this because I have been gone through anger, tremendous anger. I was very angry. My anger was always here. I keep on shouting on my husband, my kids, and in every presentation, I keep on telling them I really feel bad how I handle. And it was affecting my physical health also. Obviously, anger, helplessness. I feel like crying. Like 7 o'clock in the evening when things are dull, you feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything. You feel like crying, and people cry also. Even my clients, when they come to me, they always say that in the evening, I don't feel like doing anything. So, all these helplessness, when you are getting angry, you don't know what is happening in the body, and then you think that is the time where you need to take care of yourself. That is the time where we need to listen all these expertise what we are talking in. How do I know? If somebody says, why do I need a mental health? Why do I need to see a therapist? Why should I do meditation? And even in meditation, as Sir shared and so many people shared, some people will say, I can't do meditation. It's that simple as that. I'm also a yoga practitioner and a Reiki practitioner, and we do yoga and mindfulness sessions for the corporates as well. And wherein we talk about, people normally come and say, I cannot meditate. That means you cannot go inside in your body, which is having so many of sensations, so many of disturbance, which you don't know what to do with. We don't know what to do with our body sensations. We are not aware of how to take care of our mind, what Freeman was telling us. How do we know we need to control all this? So, to understand all these things, that means we have some anxiety issues. So, major health issues, if you see, that is very, very common in nowadays is anxiety, it is depression, bipolar disorder, and post traumatic stress disorder. And most important nowadays is, my dear friends on the global platform, is depression. You talk to anybody here in Canada, Canadians, if you talk to them, they'll say everybody is depressed. It's a very common thing. We have taken it as, yeah, depression is normal. It's so to hota hi hai. Like, how cannot we be stressed? We are always stressed. So I would normally feel as depression is the major cause of mental health, and it's increasing. It's good that we are globally meeting, discussing such good topics, such learner to our session. I really appreciate everybody sharing their part. And we women are more depressed, than men, because once these men, when they are depressed outside, they come to home and they went up on us, and we get more depressed. We are depressed because of our body feeling our sensation. We are also depressed, oh, my husband is worried. We are depressed, our kids are not doing well. We are depressed, we are not good in the society, social, economical thing, and that is why we are more depressed. These men, these all Pawan and everybody, they are very good giving lecture, but once you go home, they are venting out, they get relieved. You need to speak, this is what we are talking. And these men come home and speak and went out, and we take up everything. We are very strong, we all women are very strong to take up our thing, our kids, our family, and everybody. And that is why we are more depressed than others. And I love this topic. Why are you depressed? Where Freeman, you spoke about stop, somebody spoke about cry. So every explanation, my favorite is fear. Why are so many people globally depressed? What is depression? Why are we taking medicine? If we start taking care of our depression from a childhood when we were children, or rather, let's start taking care of our children. Depression comes from fear. If you have fear, you will be stressful. If you are stressful, you will be anxious. If you have anxious anxiety, you will be depressed. If you are depressed for a longer time, you will start taking medicine. So it is so simple that fear. I want to explain fear like Stop he did. It says, what does fear means? If you check up the dictionary, fear, there's no word like fear. And we are fearful for the life. I was fearful what will happen for the future, whether our kids are going to take care of us or not. I'm fearful for my economic freedom. I'm fearful I'm putting on weight. I'm fearful for so many things. And the kids, they are fearful to talk to the people. In school, there's a lot of competition for teenagers, everybody is fearful of something or the other. And what does this fear stands for? F stands for false, E stands for emotion. False emotions appearing real. There's nothing called fear. We all have all the resources in our body. And that's what Mr. Subodh said. You have to go inside by meditation. Find everything in your body. We have all the resources. The only thing is, we don't know how to take care of it. The only thing is, we don't know what Pavan said, how to take care of our sensations. So fear is nothing. It is just your body is giving you signals, his body is giving you signs that something wrong is happening. Be prepared. Our unconscious mind, our mind is preparing us for the worst, and we get scared. Oh, we are fearful. And we are not taking care of that sensation. We become stressful. Then we say, we are stressed. We are not taking care of the stress. We say that it's normal. Then we are anxious. If we are not taking care of it, then we get depressed. And then finally we say, this is normal. Stress is normal. Depression is normal. So we need to go inside our body and find out the root cause and the sensations, the reason why I'm fearful. And believe me, our body is saving us. Our body is saving us from the worst, and they are giving us the signals, and we are not understanding those signals. It's as simple as that. So what I'm trying to say is, we need to address these signals. And why are these signals coming? First of all, economic pressure. There's a lot of social pressure for kids, for social media, Instagram, Facebook, all these for teenagers to perform well. There's a lot of competition on global platforms. So there's a lot of social and economic pressure. Then there's also a childhood adversity. Even the parental loss. I was stressed. I was not happy. I was feeling bored because I lost my dad so early when I was 15, 16, when was the time for me to, enjoy life and do something. I had that thing. So this parental loss or a separation, children, those who are seeing this, or anybody, their grandparent or somebody is ill, all these things are affecting and making that child fearful. And that fear is accumulating in that body, and they are becoming stressful. They are anxious. And sometimes it is biological also, but that is very rare. That is very rare. So, what I mean to say is, even from the childhood till now, we should take care of our body, our sensation. And why is it a problem? It's okay if everybody is depressed, everybody is anxious, it's okay. No, it's not okay. And that is why we are here. Everybody has quoted it, it's not okay, right? And that is why we are discussing all this. Because if we have this problem globally, we are going to have broken families, poverty, unemployment, and most important is our immune system, our physical health. Our immune system will not be functioning well. I will not be having good relationships. Even Harvard study has also proven that if you are having good relationships, you are happy. You are happy. Happiness quotient is coming there. So we are not going to be having a good relationship with others, with friends, with co-workers, and most important, immune system and our communication. Our communication is hampered. Have you seen people, they are talking in a different way. They're more, some people, you are a great, you speak well. All these things, your communication with and interaction with others, this is all going to affect if we are having this. So is there a treatment? We all spoke about meditation. This is there a treatment for mental health? It is there. Believe me, it's there. But it is not generalized. You cannot have simple cough and have a medicine. It's not a headache wherein you take a simple known medicine in every. What works for one person might not work for you. What is working for me might not work for you. So that is why, because my mental health thing was, I lost my dad when I was early. I was angry with God. I was angry with people. Why me? We always say that, right? Why me? Not feeling gratitude, not knowing what all I had. But all these things clubbed me. And then I decided one day, enough is enough. I need to take care of myself. I need to see why I'm feeling this sensation in my body. Like Ed Thomas said, we need to see how can I be the best version of myself? How can I take care of this? I don't want to take medicine. So basically, everybody has a different treatment or a therapy for that. But that is why we do psychotherapy, or we have therapists, or we have professionals, healthcare professionals, those whom you can talk. But before going to them, you can help yourself also. That's what we are doing this conference. You can help yourself. And everybody has discussed so many good things. So I'll just summarize that and say that make that small changes which we are saying. And what I'm saying is listen to your body first. Before doing any meditation, what Sir said, Pavan said self-talk, then Sir was talking about meditation, then we were having self-love, self-care. First see what is happening in your body. Ho kya raha hai body mein? What is happening? What is the problem? Pay attention to your feelings. And then notice that feelings and stay active, like do yoga, walking, sleeping well, eating well, balanced diet, and relaxation techniques, deep breathing, meditation, mindfulness, this we talk about. And most important in deep breathing, we call it as box breathing. What is a box? Square. 4 inhale. Let's do that, a smaller one. Inhale at the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale at the count of 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple. Simple box breathing. 4 inhale, exhale, holding and back. This helps you deep breathing. Do meditation, do yoga, as meditation we spoke about in detail, so I will not elaborate. Mindfulness, see what is happening in your mind. Freeman also spoke about this. And do journaling, write down, as just now discussed. Have a paper pen, write down what are you feeling right now. I always tell people for self-help, now people here were discussing early morning do things. Being an NLP practitioner and a life coach and into a yoga and Reiki, what I think is your day should start at night. At night, before you go to bed, I have also shared a technique how to do that. Feel gratitude for whatever happened. Your whole day has passed. Feel the touch of the bed. Say thank you to God. Pay thank you for everything, whatever the day was. And think positive. And in that sense, you sleep. When you sleep in that way, what is going to happen? your unconscious mind will do that self-talk and think whole night for you. So instead of you are doing meditation for 5 minutes in the morning, if you start doing meditation at night and sleep, whole night and you are in that trance state. So you're spending 10 minutes and 8 hours of good sleep. When we do meditation in our sessions, people say that I cannot sleep, I'm not able to sleep. And then in one session, they'll say, we slept so well. Never it has happened. You go into the trance and your body listens to your unconscious mind. So unconscious mind is working 8 hours to take care of your meditation. So you will start doing this. And self-help may practice self-love. We spoke about, Pawan spoke very nicely about self-talk and self-help. Self-love is very important. This is what every day morning, I'm looking good. I'm good. You have heard of Sister Shivani and Sadhguruji. Every time they keep on talking self-compassion, self-love. I'm a pure soul. I'm happy. I'm blessed. So this is what we are giving reminder to our brain, to our unconscious mind. You are that. And that is what just now Freeman explained, that this is what is going to happen. You come out of your comfort zone. Make a plan, okay? People say that we cannot do this. Dimple, we don't have time. Make up a daily routine, make a journal, write down the things, have a board there and write down what you do. And keep your connection strong, meet people, talk to people, and start with your family and friends. Your family is always there to do this. Still you're feeling stressed? Still that mental health is not there? I'll tell you what to do. This is what we do. You are still feeling stressful, right? After listening to this global conference, world leaders speaking about it, what you need to do. See what is happening in your body. Kya ho raha hai? What is happening? What sensation you're feeling in your body? See the feeling part of it. What are you feeling right now? Your muscle is tense, you're stressed, your heartbeat is faster, not feeling good. Revise your self-talk. Say all the positive affirmations and things to you. I'm good, I'm relaxed, my body is fine, my neck is good, I'm feeling good. And listen to the music, any music which you love. Read inspiring stories, or I will say, make a jar, gratitude jar. Every day, whatever you are grateful for, put it in that jar, a slip. One day, one slip. Next day, more slips. Your jar will be full in 1 week. Whenever you feel low, take out a slip from that jar. Open that slip and read. You are grateful that you are living, you are alive. So many people didn't get up. So many people not watching this conference. They are not there in this world, dear. You are listening to global people from all over the world. All thanks to Supriya. Say, feel thankful for what is happening. Small thankful. Oh, I'm looking good. I'm blushing today. I lost 100 grams of weight today. I'm happy. I'm learning something. I made a checklist, what these people shared. Oh, it's working. So list down what is giving you comfort. Is music giving you comfort? Is good sleeping giving you comfort? Everybody's comfort level is different. See your comfort zone. List it down. Make a daily routine. And please talk to your body. See the sensations. Feel it. Do this every day. I'm sure you don't need any therapist. I'm sure you don't need me. I'm sure you don't need anyone. And this music is going to give you a soothing environment. It's going to change your stress sensation. It's going to change your fear and you will fly like a bird. Still, if you think this is not going to work, then you have to reach out. Then you have to seek therapy. But there's nothing wrong in it. Still, things don't work. There's nothing wrong in it. Because the awareness is shifting global platform and there's nothing wrong to ask for help. It's a sign of your strength, not your weakness, right? You're confident. So stay in touch with the people, start with your family, friends. Notice your sensation, do what all we discussed in this webinar or in this session, in this conference. Love yourself, connect with yourself through meditation, self-talk, and live the life you want. And stay happy. This is all you need. I was hearing Sushmita saying at that day, and there's nothing, there's no hope to find out something. If you're not doing today anything, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If you feel like sleeping today and you don't want to be in a rat race, you don't want to be in, doing this, that's perfectly fine. You're loving yourself. You're working on yourself. You're working on your mental health. So if you need to open that lock, the key is with you. The key is within you. That's what Sir said right now, Subho said. Go inside and find out. Still, if you need help, reach out for the therapy and there's nothing bad in it. But please, please take good care of yourself. Thank you so much.
Wow, Dimple. Thank you for such a wonderful session. And trust me, we really felt that peace which we were craving for. Even at least I was craving for. And it was so soothing that this 3 hours of conference, but still your people love you and everyone who are present over here, all eminent dignitaries, personality, for showing such gratitude, love, affection, and their wisdom that has given an enlightenment this global conference. So ladies and gentlemen, as spring comes after winter, as seeds come after the sprouting, similarly, our global conference not end. Sweet beginnings, sweeter beginnings after a beautiful end, and learning is a continuous journey. So I thank everyone who supported us, who loved us these 3 years. Can you believe? 3 years, but still we are full of energy, wisdom, learning, and we are still craving for learning. So heartfelt thanks to all the people, all the live audience, all the eminent speakers, everyone who made this global conference a successful conference. And of course, you'll be getting all your certificates today itself, your YouTube video. So let's head towards another beginning. Thank you so much. And at last, thank you so much, Dr. Dragon, Macedonian Association, Doza Structure, for giving me this golden opportunity to be with you all. Stay happy, hale and hearty. Bye-bye for now. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and take care of your mental well-being. Namaste once again from India.